you don't even know it yet, but gaming is your greatest advantage in life. I don't know if you've picked up on it yet, but the reason why games are so addicting is not because they're fun. You play games that piss you off. You play games where you spend hours building characters, managing inventories, just like thinking about what you could be doing about the game instead of just actually playing it. And that's kind of a cool thing because that's exactly what you're going to have to do to manage your own life. But I know from experience that the hardest thing about getting over gaming is finding something to replace it with. And 10 years ago, when I was still in high school, a fat, chubby kid addicted to video games, that replacement came in the form of weightlifting. I didn't realize it at the time, but the reason why I'm still doing it now today is because it gives you everything that you like about gaming, the sense of progression, the feeling of leveling up, the way that you can choose your own kind of like play style, if you get what I mean. All of these factors make weightlifting a game in itself, where you can get addicted to the process of playing the game of weightlifting, leveling up, and literally building the character that you want to become. And if you're like me and you love games like Fallout or Skyrim and the whole process of building characters and figuring out how you're going to get them to the end game stage, then you'll love doing the research about how to build the best physique, doing the research of what exercises are the most optimal for muscle growth and all these kind of things, given to you directly by an abundance of information from all the amazing creators that are out there who can give you this advice for free. So it's pretty much just like how you would binge videos on how to learn how to create a certain playstyle for a game. You can do the same thing with your weightlifting journey. You can easily go and figure out what kind of training program you want to do. You can go and experiment with all the different exercises that you like to do and find the best ones that suit your quote unquote playstyle and do all that kind of stuff. And one thing that I've found that is really motivating about the whole nature of weightlifting is that it's the only hobby where you get immediate and positive feedback from what you do in the form of a pump. Every time you lift weights, it's increasing the amount of blood that's circulating through there. And through that, you get the effect of seeing your muscles getting bigger as you lift heavy weight. Now, direct feedback is one of the biggest mechanisms that game designers use to help you get addicted to these video games, because as soon as you defeat a boss, you get a reward. And as soon as you do certain actions, you can see tangible rewards or tangible consequences of what you do in the game that feed into the feedback loop of how you play it. And getting that same feedback loop in real life is really hard, because think of something like studying to learn a new language. It's really hard to tell whether you're actually getting better unless you're in a direct conversation with someone who's giving you live feedback on your pronunciation, your grammar, and the tone you're using and all that kind of stuff. But with weightlifting, you can literally see whether you can hit the weights or not, whether you're getting a pump or not, whether you're feeling a bit of mind-muscle connection when you're doing the exercise. There are so many factors that make weightlifting one of the best games that you could ever play. And the coolest thing about it is that the addiction to the game of weightlifting isn't anywhere as near as detrimental as the addiction that you get to gaming. Because imagine if you took the hours and effort and knowledge and all the skill that you've been building in games and applied that to weightlifting. If you take that same person and advance 5 years into the future, how much of a difference can you see in those two people's lives? It's insane. And it doesn't even need to be the equivalent, because it's useless to spend 8 straight hours of weightlifting compared to like doing 8 hours of gaming. Instead of that, you'd also be doing meal prep. You'd also be taking care of your sleep. You'd also be doing these really impactful things to help gain muscle. And I think the hardest part about this game is that there's so many different playstyles. There's so many different techniques that people use or programs that people tell you to do for the optimal muscle growth and all that kind of stuff. But if you think like the game designer of your own life, and if we were the game designers of trying to get people into weightlifting in the first place, what would we do? Would we take them straight into like the level 100 kind of things? Or would we start them from level 0? And that's the exact kind of thing that I found myself after doing 2 years of straight weightlifting, and then I fell off the wagon. And then I tried to get back into that like level 100 stuff, and I just couldn't. And trying to start at level 100 when you haven't even done level 0 or like the tutorial phase is probably the biggest mistake that I see people make, because they're really inspired by all these people with amazing physiques on social media who put in a ton of work because it's literally their full-time job to do so. But then they compare themselves to that standard and they realize that they can't keep it up. And so my biggest advice to you, and something that you literally already know intuitively from the games that you play, is that we all need to start at level 0. And level 0 would look like literally just showing up to the gym and doing one set of one exercise. That is it. And that's all you can do until you prove to yourself that you can do that consistently. Because I made this mistake before. I went to the gym for 2 years straight when I was 17, up until the point when I was 19. And then I fell off. I took about a month off because I got really lazy. And then when I tried to get back into it, I tried to force myself to do my 6-day-a-week program when I spent an hour and a half in the gym every day because I thought that I could do that because I used to be really addicted to it because I'd been doing it for the last 2 years. But then I realized that my level had actually dropped down. I had to start again at level 0. I had to do one set of one exercise every single day for those 6 days. And if I can't be consistent with doing one set of one exercise, then I can't be consistent with doing the full thing. And so the way that it would work is that you treat it like a leveling system. If you're used to doing one set of one exercise, maybe for like a week or two, then you can go do 2 sets of one exercise and then keep on going up until you can add exercises and you can prove to yourself that you are consistent with it because you'll begin to love the process of it. And that's the beauty of gaming. You don't play games to finish games, you play games to play games, meaning that it kind of sucks when you finish games. You kind of hate it because that means you have to find something new. Whereas in the game of life, and the game of weightlifting, the whole point is to keep on playing, and there is so much for us to do. My name is Michael, and I want to help you turn your love for gaming into your greatest advantage. And if you want to learn more about how to do that, you can click this video up here.